Hey folks, we're up here today in New Hampshire talking about the BCM Jack Carbine. This was a collaboration between Travis Haley, Geisley, AGL, a bunch of different manufacturers and an operator to really design a kind of full-in carbine. I have to say, yes, there's also a big part of this that's marketing, right? Obviously Travis Haley and BCM want to sell guns. And so by collaborating and coming up with some of the things that this carbine has, I think they've done that. The reality is you can buy these parts separately and assemble your rifle, your carbine, for probably a lot less than this one retails for, at almost $1,900. So what I thought we'd do today is just talk through some of the features of the gun, but more importantly, give me a chance to shoot it because that's what I love to do. So we started with the BCM parts, right, in terms of the receiver and the barrel, the BCM gunfighter, compensator, flash hider, some of both. It's actually a very, very effective muzzle brake in my opinion, and I have it on a couple of my other carbines and I really, really like it. So the gun is set up as a sort of traditional AR-15. It has some weight to it, like, you know, almost 9 pounds. It's fairly heavy. It does have the BCM flip-up iron sights that I really like. And in this case, it has the HK style, so we have the rounded internals versus the ears that go out on your traditional AR-15. I actually like that better. For sight acquisition, that seems to work a little bit better for me. The Geisley modular forend here, and this has been changed a little bit since the very first one was introduced, but it certainly gives a lot of attachment. It looks great. Hey, it's Geisley. What's there not to like? AGL defense trigger. So this trigger, while heavy, while really designed as a combat trigger, is smoother than your typical AR-15 stock trigger. Also, SOP mod B5 stock. Really like the stock. Nice and solid. Very easy on the shoulder. Right angle for me in terms of having that slight angle, so as I bring the gun up from whatever ready position I'm using, it fits right into the pocket. I also forgot the Inforce light here. It is a momentary light source as opposed to straight on, so right, I just press the button, illuminate it, easy on, easy off. Makes a lot of sense from a tactical situation. Today I'm running a Trijicon MRO. Really inexpensive, not quite as good in my opinion as the aim points in terms of its clarity and the glass that it's used, but for $450, and I just wanted basically to get this to be able to throw it on different rifles and use it. I really like it. It works, it's very effective, and certainly for the price point, I think a great option for those of you looking for a red dot optic to look at. And let's start shooting. We've got some paper out there, we've got some steel both at 50 and 100 yards. We'll do our best to hit it and to give you guys a chance to see what that looks like. Let's get to it right now. All right, so once again, we're 50 yards. We've got a piece of steel out there. See if I can work this trigger here. So as always, when I do my part, we can hit the thing, working that trigger. Again, this is a combat trigger. It doesn't help me as much as the competition style trigger or the Geisley triggers that I usually shoot in my AR-15s. No excuses, just a fact. And I've only put 60 rounds through this gun so far, so it's brand new, so we're working through that. Well guys, a couple different groups here. This was the first group that we shot with that PMC 223 ammunition. That was the second group that we shot, very similar to the first in terms of its group. This was the third group that we shot with the XM 193 again, the 5.56 ammunition. And then I made a little adjustment and also swapped out my eyewear. And we got that group. Again, much better, only 50 yards. I know there are many people who are really great marksmen with a carbine, and out at 100 yards or whatever, they can do this all day long. Keep in mind, this gun is not tuned in any way, shape, or form. It simply is as stock. I've only put about 100 rounds through it, so we're kind of getting used to it. No excuses on the marksmanship part. That I own. But I don't want you guys to think the gun is not capable of much better accuracy than demonstrated here. But again, 50 yards away, benched, no problem. I would imagine if I had some magnification, right, that would make a huge difference, especially with my aging eyes. So that's kind of a look at accuracy. Overall, really solid, but what I'd expect from the BCM product. Well guys, that's a look at the Jack Carbine, a Travis Haley BCM collaboration with Geisley, AGL, SobMod, Inforce, bunch of other stuff, but primarily built around BCM parts. And I really think it's an exceptional carbine, but again, it is an AR-15 carbine, and you could likely assemble this same rifle, or pretty darn close to it, without the little Travis Haley insignia there, for a lot less money. But on the other hand, it's kind of nice to own something maybe that's a little nicer than your average put together by me AR-15. Bottom line is, nice gun, I like it. Ultimately, I will swap out the trigger. That heavy combat trigger is just too much for me, and I have a hard enough time hitting the target, so I'll take every advantage I can get. Guys, I really appreciate you watching. Finally, and as always, stay safe.